Welcome to module number 9 of the Google Sites basic tutorial. In this module we're going to look at how to manage all of the contents of your site and the structure, the back end of the site. So it's important to manage this because you have a limited amount of storage space that you're working with. So how you can keep an eye on that. How you can keep your site well organized and not a big mess in the back end. How you can move a page once you've put it into the structure. You can move it to another area of the site. How you can change the URL of a page, which is the address that people will type in when they want to get to that page on your site. And finally, how to back up your site so that you have a copy of your site available at any time. So once your site starts filling up with content, and maybe you have more than one site that you're working on, one of the things you need to keep track of is how much storage space you've got available. So to do that, you go to More Actions, Manage Site, and then in here under the General Settings, you'll see in this corner here a blue box that says Site Storage. So as you can see, every user of Google is automatically allocated with 100 megabytes of storage space. So with if you're wise about how you use that storage space, you can actually build many websites using that. But the key to doing that is, making sure you have a good site structure, and how you store heavy files like photos and videos and so on and so forth. So generally you want to keep those offline in something like Picasa or YouTube. So let's have a look at how you can take care of your site structure. So your site structure is not necessarily what you see here. This you establish yourself unless you make it automated. It's more about keeping your site pages well organized. So to do that, you go to More Actions, Manage Site, and in this section, Pages, if you click in there, you can actually see every single page that you have within this website. So these little minus and plus symbols, if you click on the plus symbols, the pages, the structure will expand, and you can see all the different pages that you've got, including, this is a page, and then inside that page there's other pages stored. It's kind of like a filing system. So what you want to do is you want to create a filing system that makes sense to you and keep it nice and clean and well organized, and that way you won't get lost later having all these pages that shouldn't be on your site and are eating up storage space for no reason. It'll be easier to link to different pages within your site when you need to. There's a lot of different reasons to keep your site well organized. So say you've got a structure and then there's something that you want to change in your structure. The easiest way to do that is you go into this section, the Pages section, and for example, if I wanted to use this Children's and Educators Resources page and I wanted to move it under About EDIP and not under this section, it's really easy. All you need to do is grab the page and drag it up, and then it will automatically move itself to that subset of About EDIP. So if we click on that page, you'll see that this page, which is EDIP's Community Disaster Management Educational Resources, that sits in the structure under the actual site itself, and then in the Resources section, and that's the name of the page there. So this is the full URL of that particular page. Now, if for any reason you want to change that URL, and you should do those kinds of changes before your site goes to public, because the reason is that when other people are linking to your page, if you change the name of this URL, the link to that URL will then be broken where they've established a link to it. So make sure your URL is as user-friendly and appropriate as possible before you use it too much. So where you can change the URL is under the page settings, which is under more actions. So here you can see this is the actual URL. So here it's disaster management resources, and here it's also disaster management resources. So if I was to take off the word resources and click save, you can see it's changing the page's URL, and now the URL is just disaster management without the word resources. I'm going to go ahead and change that back because we've already made some links to this. So it's dash resources, and just make sure that that's properly set. So again, it's changing the page's URL, and there's the URL. And then the last thing that's maybe important to know about the site storage and the infrastructure of your site is how to back up your site. So Google's server is, one of the best servers in the world, and your website is stored on the Google server when you make a Google site. But you might want to make your own backup of the site as well. So to do that, you go to General, and you go down to the bottom of the page here. It says Site Actions, copy this site. So what you can do is just click on copy this site, and then you would call it something like EDUP new backup, and you probably want to put a date as well. So May 18th, 2011, and include revisions, copy site members. That's up to you if you feel that's appropriate. And then you're going to type in the code and click copy site. And what will happen is Google will go ahead and make a copy of your site, which can take quite a while depending on how much content you've got on your site. And then it will be a new name, which is the site with that name, which is now stored in your Google Site infrastructure. So now you've got your original site, and then you've got the backup as well. So you can do that as many times as you want to.